Carathis is based off the character from William Beckford's novella Bathic. And in Spectral #1, it's also recommended by Ellen Dallow in her list for Volume 7, Best Horror, for years Best Horror. Carathis. Her skin of burnished bronze, so silken to the touch. Her hair of blackest midnight, wafting scents of such. Intoxicating aphrodisiacs in her, enticing eyes of hazel that made weak hearts stir, belonged to the dark sorceress of high Samara. Fools only would court this dark queen whose mouth is Mara. Her heart was ice within a cage of blackened bone. Carathis was her name, and she would rule alone. Inside the high witch tower of her dark delights, she decked her walls with hanging bodies all alight. Her floors were red, her followers were all deaf mutes, and mummies who attended to her brews of newts, emitting fumes of mummies and the blazing flames, frequently filled her working space as, without shame, she practiced rituals with offerings spread out. Her tainted mind had found for certain, without doubt, an entrance to the palace of subterranean fire, a place of treasures and rare knowledge to desire. Such sacrifices of serpents and scorpions soon insufficient grew, and fresh new champions were needed to appease her gods of pain and death. Servants, friends, children were the same, for every breath could easily be stilled for passage down below. Reciting savage incantations soon let go her earthly limits, and she entered down with bliss into the palace where awaiting was Iblis. He greeted her as newly hired within his ranks, and offered food and wine which eagerly she drank. He gave free range of his grand palace, and she soon surveyed every dark corridor, how she did swoon. When finally she came upon her long-sought prize, the talismans of Solomon that held the skies, and conquered all beneath them, quickly grabbing one. Her heart burst into flames with a heat like the sun. Explosive cachinnation pierced the many halls, and her shrill screams forever echoed in his walls. The next poem is called Lover's Witch, and it's the first of a pair of poems, and it was published in Weird Fiction Review #5 by Centipede Press. Lover's Witch. The sun's gold gleams beneath her skin and gives us warmth with every touch. Her eyes are gems, the moon's blue twins, which sparkle, barely hinting much. A promise of sweet heaven's kiss forever lures me to her hold. Her gaze upon me is pure bliss, and that was how my soul was sold. Her love a spell is wound around my soul like lingering perfumes that emanate from floral crowns of belladonna all abloom. She is the star in its fierce fire, the moon in its deep darkest phase, the red, red rose of the great friar, the center garden in the maze. When those in favor fall from grace, her skin sears with hell's hottest flame. Her eyes grow dark with new moon's face, and lips give way to fame's quick aim. I am her lover, she my witch, she my desire, for only I can coax the moon back from the pitch and find gold from flame's last cry. This is the other part of the pair. It's called Witch's Love, and it was published in Spectral Realms #2. Witch's Love. Twin moons of palest crystal set in cerulean eyes, star fire, inflames his crown with ruby jets, as red as Hades' grandest pyre. My lavender and rosehip blend, enchanted with my witch's touch, was not used as I did intend. His heart at once was in my clutch. His taste is honey on my lips, his silver tongue is sweeter still. His touch is silk on my soft hips, his love is master of my will. He is the cosmos in its ice, the oak in its deep steadfast roots, the green absence in its high price, the diamond from the ashen suit. And only me his interest piques, for I alone enrapture him. In me my magic love he seeks, for I choose love not on a whim. I am his witch and he my love, he my desire, for only I can melt his ice from skies above and temper his poisonous high. The next poem is called The Perfect Rose, and it's a tribute poem to Norma French. The Perfect Rose. The soft and languid rays of dawn, of colors red and gold, caress the rose to which they're drawn, a splendor to behold. The silken petals painted red, a scarlet like her lips, gleam out amid the poppy bed, and shine till daylight slips. The perfect rose, still young and pure, still timeless like a swan, can heed the storm in its strong lure. It bloomed and now is gone. The next two poems are Halloween themed, and they were both published by Halloween Howlings by Rainfall Books and Records. Graveyard Blossom. The scent of roses sweetens all behind. The graveyard gates, it graves so far away, cannot send forth a fragrance so refined, like phantom rich perfumes without decay. Through veils of vapor, ghoul or goblin follows, through witching graveyards on this eve of hollows. Red candy apples, sugar glazed and gourds, are broken on the ground in massive messes, from little witch and ghost and devil hordes. A few in ruffled tuxes and fine dresses have grown confused by these corrupt traditions, yet they endure them, trapped in their traditions. Felines all sense the fey this Samhain night. The rabbits lead past otherworldly lines. Prophets predict things with the mystic sight, and priests all pray at candle-lighted shrines. Yet a lone graveyard blossom lies so lost, a most enchanting bloom to call at cost. The nightshade lingers, oh so silently, around the rusted iron of the gate. They kill in stealth, but never violently. Within the heavy night they lie in wait, for midnight's mistress of dark spells to reap their potent properties of deepest sleep. The purple petals purify the darkness, for trespassers who dare to sneak inside. The nightshade vaguely does admire their calmness, yet trick-or-treaters want what they provide. The bursting berries lure them all astray, so unaware its state will soon betray. The Abandoned Garden. The dreaded graveyard blossom, the nightshade, of deadly beauty does not claim this land. The siren's favored lily has decayed from plots of earth where once it loved to stand. Even the dark chrysanthemums all shy away from the abandoned garden's touch. Only the red, bewitching roses lie upon forgotten graves in death's cold clutch. This Halloween the garden comes to life. The dead all dance and chat away the night. But come the morning they return with strife, and only withered roses haunt the site. The next poem is a Yule poem, and it was published in Winter Horror Days by Omnium Gatherum. Winter Witch. In crystal towers lit by silver moons, the Winter Witch invokes the Holly King. Into the world she casts with ancient runes a velvet darkness from which he will spring. She shuns the sun the Oak King conjures now, and exiles him to the abyss beyond. She bleeds the flesh of her silk wrist in vow, to fell the sun above and seal the bond. This next one is called Ghoul Mistress, and it was chosen for the HWA's Poetry Showcase this year. One winter night I caught a glimpse of her, enwrapped in fog of ghostly glowing green. She followed in my wake, unheard, unseen. Her icy, killing kisses had no cure. She caught my eye and left the other fools, for she had found the lover she desired. Her eyes entrapped me, and I was admired. I was her mortal, diamond of her jewels. She drifted through the fog and drew so near, admiring me with greenish goblin fires. Without a word, she knew my dark desires. She could unlock my most forbidden fears. Before I said a single word, she kissed my lips and stirred a storm of ice in me. My skin grew cold, yet dying I was free. My ghoulish mistress only would be missed. This next one is called Medusa's Mirror, and it was published in Xnoybis, issue 1 by Dunhams, Manor. Ophidian locks coiled round her pretty head. Despairing softly, they hissed in her ears. Medusa stood, her heart all full of dread, in front of cracked mirror full of tears. Her veil fluttered gently from the gusts, forever flowing through her darksome cave. She heard more men with spears designed to thrust, and to thrust truth to send her to her grave. The warriors of the gods sought her cursed eyes, but she would not be weak to gods or men. With a shrill hiss, she tore her veil's silk ties. It drifted to the floor of her old den. She, clad in marble, watched with a blind stare when the men failed and left her cold, dead lair. This next one is called Kiss the Stars, and it was published in Spectral Realms #1. Liquid black darkness sears with icy flames. In it I sink, forever falling, yet eternally suspended all the same. I am the light that guides, yet still I fret. Oh, loneliness, forsake me, for the sun does not adore me as the legends tell. I am the moon, she that most beings shun, for gazes look upon me when in hell. Their hatred slowly brews as I show them. The night is everlasting as is fear. They cannot fathom that I am their gem, the light in their deep darkness when I near. Who lights the heart of me in my dark mess? Who but the hot and burning stars whose breath of languid warmth gives me the soft caress of a pure love that trans even death? Celestial lovers of the cold cosmos surround me, and though they're still so far, like the lovely Venus or red Mars Deimos, I, in return the moon, shall kiss the stars. This next one is a King in Yellow poem. It was published in Spectral Realms #3, and it's called Even Madness Cannot Hide. The murmurs blow across the barren land of dim Carcosa, spoke from spectral lips. A stillness wraps me with its wintry hands. A strange awareness heightens, then it slips. A weakness creeps and slithers deep inside from the foreboding presence of the king. A torment even madness cannot hide arises, and I crave what death would bring. I kneel on bended knee and bow my head, yet such a power upward pulls my face. I see behind the pallid mask in red, and yellow fire engulfs me from his grace. The land is flooded by my wails and cries, his voice triumphant in the flaming light. His searing fire inflates to monstrous size as I fall down the black abyss of night. Next one is called Vexteria, and it's a planet of my creation. It was published in Spectral Realms #2. Vexteria. The monolith's reach upward stabs the purple sky, like shadow claws silently stretching towards space. Beneath them in desert terrains a loathsome race of creatures dwell beneath the searing sands and spy. The heavy storms of sand engulfed the planet once, Oceans of ceruleum became seas of sand. The greatest cities turned to graveyards just as grand. Few natives just escaped, all fleeing in response. Aeons yet passed, and evil poisoned their lush earth. Strange skulls and polycephalic cadavers lay across hot plains and formed as if they were soft clay into great structures of some foul demonic birth. Arising in an amaranthian sky, the shrines and temples ever leer with sharpened grins and gazed with sightless sockets. Nothing could escape the maze of yellow scales and bones and painted wings of wine. Above, the natives watched the building up of bones and wondered if they were so built to worship them. And yet no idol stood there, no religious gem from Vexteria's lore. Their gods did not need thrones. They worship gods from welkins past the horrid stars, beyond their poisoned rays, and once more they will come. Vexteria is silent, save a vibrant hum, caused by an unknown source, yet something not too far. Next one is a short one. It is published in Spectral #1. It's called Horror. In dark cathedrals and woodlands mist-laden, a horror lurks in realms beyond unseen. Few fae are pretty and appear to maidens. Most of their kind are cruel and ugly green. A door can lead to their true territory, the other world where anyone might stray. It changes paradise to purgatory, and all cold shadows pave for you the way. This next one is another short one. It was published in the first issue of Audience Void. It's called The Glass Vial. My motor and my pestle of green jade have grown so black from witches' salt and ash. My glass retort is smoking fumes to aid in dark concoctions for my potion stash. My calcinator stands in need of heat, derived from coals and shards of amber gum. My alembic brews black drops to greet my foeman's lips, which turn from pink to plum. Liquids of crimson, liquids poison green, gleam in the ampules in my skull-marked case. A curse in each, none quarrel with this queen. I fill tall orders, leaving not a trace. And one poem left is called Ligeia after Post character, and it was published in Spectral #2. Ligeia. I cannot summon the old memory of when I first became acquainted with her, yet since then I have long felt that we have never been apart. Her form of sculpted marble, lips of reddest heart, her voice of sweetest song and eyes of fondest dreams, allured my heart of hearts, her face forever beams. Her face no maiden match, for she was wildly fine. Her skin rivaled the purest ivory of the Rhine. Ligeia was her name, beloved wife of mine. She fell violently prey to vultures, such that dine and thrive on flights of passion which I could not measure, except by her fierce rapture from wild words of pleasure. She grew ill, though her eyes blazed with effulgence still, yet her pale fingers turned a waxen hue to chill the very heart of me, and I knew she would die. She wrestled greatly with the shadow that was nigh, and as I sat beside her, she poured out her heart to me with words of love to match a poet's art. I knelt beside her ebon bed and spoke a verse to her, yet soon, how soon, she fell to death's cold curse. I crushed into the very ground with sorrow's weight, and held it long with me as even timely fate. Or grant another wife to me, for she was not Ligeia, and I loathed her with a hate that ought to burn within a demon rather than in me. She too fell ill while I knelt near upon one knee. She spoke of sounds and motions, yet I could not hear, could not see, and as time went on, she pressed this fear. In her a deadly pallor spread, and I sought wine, yet as she drank, 3 phantom drops fell in line. A faint, soft shadow of such cerubric contour just passed me by, and then my wife was just no more. I sat alone with her now shrouded form, and yet I heard the sighs of breath and sounds I can't forget. She rose from bed and shook the fetters off of death. The shroud fell off, Ligeia stood again with breath.